1 p.m. in Abuja, Nigeria. It is midday in Accra. Good afternoon and welcome to Midday Live. My name is Bright Nana Amfo. And top on the bulletin this afternoon, bonded graduate from School of Hygiene picket at the local government ministry to demand employment. We'll tell you exactly what's happening there and why they are asking for placement. Danger looms as Ghana's forest cover depletes. We're told that more than 6 million hectares of forest cover gone. And more than 150,000 prospective applicants yet to be placed in senior high schools as stakeholders call for extension of the deadline. And on the international front, Kenyan opposition leader Raila Odinga says he will not take part in a rerun of the presidential election slated for October 17. And of course, we have these and many more coming our social media platforms well activated. Post your comments. We'll read them to the rest of the world. Let's start from the education front. Some frustrated senior high school applicants and their parents have besieged the education ministry to demand senior high school placement. A 48-hour directive to qualified applicants by the ministry has sent prospective students and their parents scrambling to beat the deadline.
The Education Ministry premises frustrated parents and prospective SHS students in a mad rush to beat the deadline. They recounted the difficulties registering online to be placed. Others cannot even access their results.
I passed all right, but I didn't get the placement. When I get to I used the MTN to check it. They said all my 4 choices, I have lost it. And I said, okay. So I tried using the website. It will come. You try to select your suite, but it will just go off. It won't come again. So today we came to the office here, education office, and they said they directed us to go to NIT, IT, to go and check it over there. When we get there too, they said the website is down.
When we start checking the result, it's still blocked. So that's the reason why we came back to the Ghana Education Service.
So your daughter has not seen her result?
No. Even right now, when we came, they asked us to go so that we should go back and check it on Friday. That's what they say. So we are totally frustrated and we don't know what to do.
The ministry convened an emergency news briefing to apologize to parents for the difficulties encountered, blaming internet connectivity. Initially, the ministry gave students 48 hours to register or risk forfeiting their placement, but has now rescinded its directive. Dr. Asiedu-Dartey is the Deputy Minister of Education.
At the end of the 2 days, if your child is not enrolled, we're not going to cut him or cut her off. We had about 92% of the students declared as placed in regards to the fact that they are seized for them. Now, the 8% are those who did not do on the exams. They are students who have a number of fails.
He again promised parents to exercise restraint and channel their concerns to the Free SHS Secretariat.
We are making sure that there are backup plans. We are working with NIT in Accra opposite busy internet. There are places open for parents who may have connectivity issues. We are looking at options around the country. Internet cafe and other places, we are talking to them, how they can open access to our parents.
The Deputy Education Minister warned headmasters not to demand unauthorized fees from parents and PTAs.
We've made it abundantly clear to our headmasters that money should not be the reason why a student does not go to school, and therefore no parent should receive a bill. If PTA meets and decide in consultation with GES that there's something they want to do and they want parents to contribute, it will not be mandatory.
Meanwhile, 60 out of 92% of students have been posted, while the remaining representing 36,000 students are yet to be placed.
Right, so the process continues today. The extension is being given, but a lot more of the students are still out there. Let's quickly run through some of the figures that we have seen out of these whole exercise. 460,941 registered candidates were placed Now, we're told that 424,092 of them qualified to be placed, and that represents 92% of the total number. Now, 267,327 candidates secured schools of their choice. Now, the worry is that 50,770 candidates could not be placed in a school of their choice. And this is where the whole problem starts, because these students would have to go back to the system, get onto it, and choose a set of schools to be placed. And that is where the concerns have been raised. Students are not getting through on the system. We're told of internet connectivity challenges. The GS says it has all the time and is waiting for every student to get placed before perhaps the system is shut down. But the National Union of Ghana Students is asking questions. They are urging government to extend the year's computerized school selection placement. Already the extension has been done, but they are suggesting that they need more extension because a lot more of the students are finding it difficult to get into the system. Now, I told you earlier that more than 150,000 people are yet to be placed in the various senior high schools. And very soon we'll be speaking to the rep of the National Union of Ghana Students. He will tell us the concern of the union as to this year's examinations there. Kenneth Sapon is the press secretary of NUCS. He's just joined me in the studio. He's also known as SK. SK, good afternoon. Grateful for your time with us.
Good afternoon.
Now, let's begin from here. The GS has already done one extension. It fell on a holiday, so another is being given. You're asking for more time.
Yeah, from what we have gathered from the GES, you could see that the extension they gave was just a 24-hour extension.
Right.
And as it stands now, statistically, as proven right now, we have about 15,000 people still not on the system. Now you ask yourself that what about the grandfather or grandmother who is taking care of a ward in a village somewhere that they have no access to internet connectivity? Most of them don't even know what an internet is. So our call right now is that if we leave this burden for government, it will come back to us as our own burden, in the sense that we have to let government be on the edge, that even if he's saying that we can't absorb them, because right now there is free HHS. Even the older person wants to go to school. So you can just imagine. So our call right now is that if we have, let's say, a week extension or two, someone who has not known about the internet can get that time to go to the headmaster of these various institutions and find out if there is space.
All right.
If there is space, the school would accommodate them.
I see, but has government shown any perhaps desire to end the process? We hear the education minister consistently assuring that every student will be placed. So that should be assuring enough.
Fair enough. You see, the government said thing in Ghana is one of a kind that if we leave ourselves for government to detect for us and we don't take an advantage, our problems will fight us all the time. Why am I saying this? If government is saying that we're going to check this and then you go back to the school and the school is full, what are you going to do? Now, it puts frustration on the students and it puts frustration on the parents as well. So, the National Union of Ghana Students, we sat down and thought of it, and we say we are not going to sit down for government to tell us, give us the sweet sugar-coated words, and at the end of the day, it bounced back to us. So we want to fight it now and say, Mr. Educational Minister, give us time
to fix
this.
How much time is NUCS asking for?
Even a week can do. Because 24 hours.
So let's agree, a week from today?
A week from today.
Today's Tuesday.
Yes, today is Tuesday. So a week from today, even if they can give an extension, but we should not lose focus, because we are absorbing the first years. Someone will stay home and try and get money before going. So it will not affect the academic calendar. The cycle will come back to the normal.
I see.
Yes. So
but I see. But the education minister is also been making a case why we need to get these students to school. He said that in the past years, students virtually spent 2.5 years in school instead of 3 years because of the delays with the placement system. So perhaps the deadline he's talking about is to ensure that students have the 3-year full in school.
The deadline will suit the educational ministry, but the deadline will not suit our parents and our wards. So we put pressure on them to go to school. Now when you get to school, what next? You get to school and you get frustrated, or you get to school and you see your friend going to school whilst you also have a better grade than what your friend is using to go to school, and you're still staying home. So we're saying that let's lift the burden of Ghana Education Service and let's make this cry our own cry. Your cry, my cry, the union's cry, the nation's cry, so that government will come into negotiation and then come into realization that this is the call of the nation. It's not the call of GES.
This is one of the cries. We're crying here, but how can we put practical pressure on government to give the extension?
Thank you very much. I think the way forward, I would suggest, and I really appreciate this opportunity we have as a union to sit on your platform, and I know that is going, I would suggest that the placement system, technological-wise, is effective, but I'll rank it around 70–60% out of 100. Because when we take the primitive societies in Ghana, they contribute to the masses. So why don't you do it this way? The central cities, Accra, Kumasi, the big places, would also get on the internet platform, whereby we set down a circuit, moving forward, a circuit, an educational circuit, where people that are in a primitive society will go do this thing manually. And at the end of the day,
those in rural communities where the internet is a bit
Thank you very much. Yes, a very challenge. So the data is being collated because he doesn't know what an internet is. So at the end of the day, we collate these figures, present it to the education, they put it into the system, then there is an equal and even spread for everyone.
I see. You think that will solve the problem?
It will solve the problem.
I assure you.
Because we are working it two-way. It's like, take for instance, I'm entering this studio and we say let 40,000 students enter this room.
Certainly there will be commotion.
Exactly, and there's going to be stampede, and that's what is happening on the server now. The server is choked. The server is blocked, and the students are complaining. And they can't put their trust in us. They vote for you at the end of the day. You sit down, relax, and it's like nothing is happening. That's why we said, no, we want to do this together.
I see. Now, you have made a suggestion, but this suggestion, for instance, won't work now. Already, the data is in the system and it's being churned out.
Yeah.
You said that we need to get government to listen and do the extension. I was asking that, practically, how do we stop or how do we push government to give the 1-week extension you're talking about?
With what you are helping us to do
now. So we should appeal to government to listen to us. Nooks on your own, have you formally written to government?
Yes, please. We spoke to the educational minister, that was yesterday, and we've sent him messages on the various platforms that we all share with. And I know that by now, since we have a very renowned media house like TV3 to project this call, I'm sure that it will get to where it's supposed to get for them, the stakeholders in government, to actually adhere to this information.
Okay. SK, give me a few minutes. I'll come back to you, but let's quickly look at this. Now, the coordinator of the Computerized School Selection and Placement Secretariat, Mark Sasu Mensah, has urged parents not to feel demotivated, but go online to choose available schools for the awards.
What are the main concerns that they are demanding?
Well, some of the problems that I have actually had is some of them are trying to say that most of the schools that they choose, they couldn't have access to it. But they must really understand that it is the work of the computer and how it has been programmed. You understand? For example, if you miss your first choice of your school, and you know, as a human being, if you miss first of your opportunity, your second opportunity, and they give you third or fourth opportunity, at least you'll be agitated for the school that you have done. And that is what I am experiencing over here. and most of them, so the school that they chose themselves. I think that they wanted a particular school, and they couldn't get it. So most of them feel very, very agitated. And that's the main reason why I'm here, just to address all those concerns so that we can have the way forward.
So some parents I spoke to, they indicated that their wards did not even choose schools in a particular region. But at the end of the day, they were giving schools and even day schools.
Let me tell you, proud to this exercise. I went to the radio station today, and most of the schools that they chose were very wrong. Because let me tell you, the schools that they chose sometimes have a particular course. Maybe if this is a 501 and they can go and make it 502, it takes you to another school without realizing it. But they would be in the form. Maybe he will say maybe St. John's. But because of the code that they have chosen, maybe it will take him to, let's say, Aquinas. So those are some of the problems that we anticipated from. And those problems were not from our side, because the problems that were, it was through the district education service, district education services, that is examination officers, and the schools in conjunction with the WAEC. Those were some of the things that the registration that they did, and we just collected the data from WAEC just to input it in our software. So most of them, I went to the radio station to and tell them that those who have problems in terms of the schools that they chose, they should correct it so that they bring it to us. And opportunity were given to them for them to do that exercise, and most of them did it, and we corrected it. So if you didn't do that, maybe it was the first mistake that you did. That's the main reason it happened like that. But going forward, we have a lot of solutions to that. Next year, we'll be creating another database. Then we link it with WAEC, so that everything mistake that will come, we'll be able to correct it right from the system before we input it into our data. So these are some of the things that we are trying to do to ensure that the exercise become very transparent, fair, and very good.
So now that some students have been asked to go online and place themselves, doesn't it defeat the purpose of the computerized system?
It does not defeat the purpose at all, because we give you four opportunities for you to go to select your schools. You mix all your 4 opportunities. So once that you have missed all your 4 opportunities, then the only thing that we can do is to display schools that vacancy exists, so that we can give you opportunity to also go to those schools. So I'm surprised that you are saying it doesn't defeat that opportunity at all. And those schools have also been categorized. For example, we have 9 from people who had 9 from up to 24 who couldn't get schools. And we've been categorized. We have a set of schools for that schools that has been displayed for them to choose over. And we have also from 25 and above, we have a set of schools that has been displayed that we tell them that they should choose from. If you choose, then you submit. Then you have done your placement. That's a self-placement model. This is a very innovative idea that we have brought, that we think that people should embrace it. People should take advantage of, and people should not come to our premises. People should rather go to the site and go and access it, so that they can have a smooth and transparent free SHS.
Yeah, so now we have hitches, and people are finding it difficult to log on to the online website.
We're having hitches yesterday, but as of now, we have resolved those from 3 o'clock up to this time. Let me tell you, about 7,000 people have logged onto the site, changing their schools, that is going there and just selecting their schools. So it's been very well as of now. But this problem is been off and off. But our technical men are on the ground doing the work. As of now that I'm taking, everything is going. So I am just telling the populace and the stakeholders that they should go to the site and ensure that they do that exercise.
Okay, so after there has been, this is my last question. There's an extension by the Education Service. There's an extension for parents to select the schools for their wards. After that period is over, what next? Will you extend it? And most people have still not registered. Will you extend it, or?
Well, that one is a matter of discussion for our policymakers, the ministries, and those kind of things. That's one I cannot put in it, because I'm just an implementer. I'm just an implementer. So what they say, the guidelines that they will bring is what I will follow. Therefore, let us see the time that it will elapse. I know definitely, and they will do something about it. So let's see what they have to say. But that the public should not be. I'm encouraging the public that they should not feel demotivated. But I know definitely they will do something about it and ensure that everybody will get a school for this free SHS.
Now let's stay on the issue and tell you how worrying it is. Some parents and their wards this morning besieged the premises of the Computerized School Selection and Placement Secretariat over some placement errors and difficulty in getting schools for their wards. Evelyn Tima was there and spoke to some of the parents.
Yes, you are a parent.
Yes, I am.
Why are you here?
Yeah, my ward attended St. Andrews Junior High in the Eastern region. And then his placement form, I filled the form personally. The headmaster gave it to me and I filled the form. And the headmaster took it. And when the school came, all the school that I chose, I took Nanosec as first choice. Second choice also in the north, Upper West. All first to fourth choice, all in Upper West. And when the placement came, the child was given Holy Trinity Senior High on High Street. And when I printed the placement form, all the schools here are in the south. Achimota as first choice, Holy Trinity as Senior High as second choice, St. Francis Senior High Tech as third choice, and Inchuma Senior High as fourth choice. So all the schools that we chose, none appeared here. And I believe the aggregate that he got, because I spoke to some people, I gave 14. If the right thing were done, he would have gotten Nanosec. That is, even here, if you look, when they were printing here, there's even a mistake here. The school is in Eastern region. They've given the region as Eastern. The district is Accra Metropolitan. So that is, and if they are insisting on that, it means that the child cannot even go to school because this is even a day school. And we are not here. I am in Eastern region. Yes, we wanted to see whether they can sort out the problem. Yesterday I was at the ministry, and then they said they are not responsible for that. It is here that they do the placement. But if we should even come here, there's nobody to attend to us. So they decided to come here today.
I can see that you are very sad. What's the reason?
I'm deaf. But I'm not to Mampon School of Deaf. Now nearby and say, minim ono de wan chusu sa school no na me say code no problem ba mu e copy ho code no and since be onye deaf no nti obi a be so we do case because onye yare force a so almost say you can say onye enya school no onko website no enra mo ye san fine na nti onwa enya school no onko website no that say be we so asabi o onye yare for na de na akoto no na no so end because my free school mo a yes o mo ho nyina just so maybe I met me at school do what you mix a school but almost one yes and it's here. It's no my boy. If said I brandy and person a man is baby sir. It's your boy your bomber this say you may pay but not baby as so much. It's a home run of my boy.
My girl had 06. She chose 4 schools and none was given to her. She was placed where she never even had any idea on. The school, she doesn't even like the school. She's been crying since Saturday because she said that's not her first choice, neither is it her second, third, or fourth. And more so, it's a day school. We don't live around. So what do you expect me to do? How can 06 even be... Come on.
Thank you very much.
The frustration of parents there on the computerized school selection and placements. We'll get to more on that, but the press secretary of NUCS is here. But let me quickly speak to Dr. Prince Ama. He is an education consultant and has just joined me via Skype. Dr. Ama, good afternoon. Grateful for your time with us. Now, the frustrations of parents are really getting very, very high levels. Now, is the system indeed what we need to clean our placement into senior high schools?
Yes, sure. Thank Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your cherished viewers. Yes, it is the system that we need in ensuring that people are placed in the schools equitably. However, just like we have with any program implementation, there are bound to be difficulties. The difficulties we are having this time is because of change in the status quo and how students are placed as compared to what was done last year or previous years. For example, this year they are basing the placement on aggregate as against raw scores. Again, the students themselves and the schools and the GES in terms of transposing data most often or sometimes make mistakes. And so you find out that schools that are associated with a certain code are changed and the students are not placed in the schools that they chose. For example, if you take the report by Ghana Education Service, which says that they have placed 224,000 students in their schools of choice. Now, it becomes very difficult for any parent to say that I have been placed in a school that I did not choose. That means that there is a problem somewhere. So it is the most equitable means of doing the distribution or placement. However, there has to be more education on how the students do the choices or select the schools, how the combination should be done, and then also to ensure that they do not choose schools that are far away or schools that they do not have the grades or may not have the grades to meet the expectation of the school and criteria of the school for them to be placed there.
Dr. Ama, this is not a new system. We started this, and a parent just told us that her daughter was placed at the Mampong School for the Deaf. She is not deaf. Now, the very first year this system was released, we recorded the same thing. People placed at schools that they simply can't function. Males were posted to female schools. Some years on, we're still encountering the same problem. How then does this system becomes the one that we need to clear this mess?
We need a system. The system works on algorithm. So once you change the algorithm, then you are going to have problems. The algorithm that was used in the previous years has changed. There's a new code written for the selection process. So once a new code has been written in terms of what should be the grade cutoff point, what should be the minimum requirement, now they're saying that you need just 9 in math or 9 in English. If you get 9 in math or 9 in English, you don't qualify for secondary school. That was not the system previously.
I see.
So, yes, so for that reason, there has been change in the programming, and that's why this is occurring. And I'm sure that if they decide to go back to their source code and to try to see what is happening, they will be able to rectify that. And again, some of them, as I've indicated, comes from the selection process, transposing of the data to the CSSP system. That is also an area we should look at, because if the code changes, if a school is associated with a code, and in transposing the data, the code is very small in any way that can affect the selection process. So that is something that we have to look at in terms of going forward, and in terms of the placement, the internet connectivity issue would also have to be looked at.
All right, Dr. Ama, I'm grateful. Dr. Prince Ama is an education consultant talking to me on the frustrations of parents and wards. Let's quickly wrap up on this issue with the computerized placement system. Let's quickly wrap up on this. Kenneth, so your argument is for extension. You've already written to the Education Ministry. Quickly, what was the response, and how sure are you that you're going to be listening to?
It's a sad issue. I felt the grievances of the woman that was talking, and I think this is an issue we should not joke about, because the destiny of families lies in this thing we're discussing today. And I mean, fine, fair enough. If the system is not working, you ask yourself, what is the way forward? So if you give a 24-hour You said extension. Then what impact do you want to make at the end of the day?
Did you get a response that you think is satisfactory from the Education Ministry about the extension?
They've not said anything yet.
They've not said anything?
That's why we're still
pushing.
pushing.
So you've not gotten any response?
Nothing. That's why we're still pushing. So we are praying. We're very hopeful that at the end of the day, through this venue and all the channels that we've gone through and our writings up to them, things will be done for it to be extended, because we don't want a case whereby this cry of parents and cry of students to be in continuity. So if we're solving it, we're solving it. You heard what the one in charge of the SPS said. It's not him.
That is a policy maker.
Yes. So if we don't talk to the policy maker to adjust itself to suit the students, then we are not making progress.
I am grateful for your time. Kenneth Sapon, SK, is the Press and Information Secretary at the Ghana National Union of National Union of Ghana Students. They're talking to me about the CSSPS. Grateful for your time this afternoon. Right, now let's move to the health sector. Some bonded graduates from the School of Hygiene are currently picketing at the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development for posting. We're told that the graduates, mostly from the 2015-2016 academic years, have not been posted after completing school. They are asking government to employ them. And our correspondent, Daniel Opoku, is joining me from the location there. He will tell us exactly what these students are asking to be done. When we get him, we'll let you know what the situation is. Members of the Timber Market Association are asking government to protect the country's forest reserves. The association's Greater Accra Regional President, Joe Mann, is unhappy the Forestry Commission has reneged on its responsibility to enforce the ban on illegal chainsaw operations.
Of illegal chainsaw operators in 1997. Following the constant depletion of the country's forest reserves, government also lost a huge revenue through this activity because those engaged in the business avoid paying taxes. As a result, some timber firms were licensed to feed the indigenous market with about 20 to 30% of the wooden products, but this has not been sustained over the years. This phenomenon has compelled some illegal chainsaw operators to flout the ban to fell timbers with impunity. Currently, some timber marketers have had to import timber products from Liberia in order to meet the local market demand.
We want government to look at it again. Allow us to import timber into this country and then give us some waivers so that at least we can bring it and sell. As I speak to you right now, we have a team in Liberia looking at pricing.
The media tour to some timber markets, including Ofanko, Moods, and timber markets in Accra, revealed the illegal sawn woods are still in transaction. Some wood vendors say they are willing to complement government's efforts to embark on afforestation.
The Forestry Commission have sat for a longer time. There should be replanting all these years. We are even ready to pay for replanting so that at least we can cushion the forest for now.
Operations Director of the Nature Development Foundation, Glenn Asumanin, called for the intensification of measures to safeguard the timber resource.
Government itself has realized this problem and has since the last 6 years or so started to develop what they call a timber procurement policy. And this is a first step, one of many steps to address all timber that is consumed by government for government projects. For now, the policy has moved to a stage, but it has not passed, and this is our concern. We think that once it passes and all government projects implemented with a timber coming from only certified or legal sources, then part of the problem will be addressed.
The 3-day media tour, funded by the Food and Agriculture Organization, seeks to champion the development of the country's timber procurement policy.
This is Midday Live. There will be diving deeper into the issue of forest depletion. My guest will be the Operations Director of Nature and Development Foundation. But let me take a quick break. When I come back, I'll ask him first exactly how dangerous this phenomenon is as far as protecting our forest is concerned. Stay with us. We're back in a moment. Welcome back. And forestry experts are warning that Ghana risks losing its total forest cover to illegal logging. That's a worry that NGOs that are involved in forest protection, environmental protection, are worried about. My guest in the studio, Glenn Asiedu-Dartey, is the Operations Director of Nature and Development Foundation, and he'll help me to deal with this. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining me. Okay. So, where is the problem? Greedy people taking advantage, or are protection systems not working?
Well, it's a combination of both. Of course, once a demand is created, then you have individuals taking advantage of the situation. Yes, so yes, you can say there are some individuals. So it's partly got to do with how we have regulated the sector, you know. So Forestry Commission, realizing this challenge, you know, decided to assign companies to specifically supply the domestic market. Right. But at the time, this is say 20 years or so ago, at the time demand for timber locally wasn't that high. So you got these guys silk cutting and giving to the exporters to sell, to send out on their behalf. Instead of the domestic market. Yes, so
because it made more money.
Yes, they made more money. So these illegal operators then, of course, there was still a demand locally. So the illegal operators then took advantage of the situation. And this problem has persisted since then. I mean, for more than 20 years, we've still found ourselves in this situation. Now, let me tell you a little bit about technical forestry. Forestry Commission has very good rules. In fact, they are quite robust.
In protecting our forests?
Yes, in taking care of our forests, harvesting or logging our forests. What they do is they count, which is something they call enumeration, and then they allocate to the legal timber companies. What happens is that after the legal guys have gone to remove, and by removing, say, just 2 or 3 for each hectare, and each hectare is about a football park, you know, so they remove just 2 or 3 trees. Naturally, the forest should be able to recover by itself. Now, because of all of these illegal activities, what happens is, after the legal guys have gone in to remove the 2 or 3, the illegal guys now come in, and they don't discriminate. They remove virtually anything that they can get. And this is what we get on the domestic market in Ghana. So almost 70 to 80% of the timber that you find on the Ghanaian market come from illegal sources.
If we're planting more than we're cutting, we wouldn't have this problem you're talking about.
Exactly. So again, Forestry Commission has plans, they have targets to plant so much. But unfortunately, it's not been satisfactory. And this is why we have this problem.
Government's new policy of protecting what we failed, the new procurement policy, is it the way out? Can you explain exactly how it will protect our forest?
Yeah, so it's one of the many ways, of course. The idea was that government is big. Government is a big consumer of timber. So the forest managers themselves saw this problem and decided to put in some measures to at least lead the way. And what I mean by lead the way is that since government consumes so much, so it's a chicken and egg situation. Government is putting so much resources into protecting the forest by supporting Forestry Commission. And yet there are so many government projects which are still funding illegal timber operations. What I mean is that when contractors are bidding for government jobs, they always quote the price for legal timber. But when they go to the market, what do they find?
Timber.
No, what do they find? It's 70 to 80%. So they end up buying illegal timber to do government project. You see the difference?
Right.
Government pays so much, say $1 or let's say $2
to protect the forest.
No, to the contractor who is developing a government project. Yes. And he goes to the market to buy illegal timber, which costs $1. So already there's a difference there. So the point is that government is saying, well, I'm already paying for the price of legal timber. So all they are now seeking to do is to implement a policy which is going to force the contractors, the contractors,
to purchase,
to show evidence that they are actually buying timber from legal sources. So it's actually not going to cost anybody anything. Government is already paying for this, and government is actually losing because illegal timber most of the time is inferior, it's of inferior quality. And this is the challenge that we have.
Glenn, I'm grateful for your time today. I guess this is a development, so we'll talk more about it later on. Yes. Thanks for your time. Glenn Asiedu-Dartey is Operations Director of Nature and Development Foundation, talking to me there. Let's shift attention to politics now. The minority in Parliament is questioning the basis for which the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, gave approval for the Agricultural Development Bank to give a loan of 10,459,500 cedis to the Magdan Shipping Company. Addressing the media on Tuesday, Minority Leader Harry Nedrisu said the action of the Finance Minister is a breach of the procurement processes and rules.
The minority in Parliament has received with some shock another action taken by the Honourable Minister for Finance, Honourable Ken Ofori-Atta, which amounts to a usurpation of the role of the Board of Directors of a listed company, the Agricultural Development Bank. And we are concerned because what befell UT and Capital Bank, we don't want it visited on the Agricultural Development Bank. At the time that the country's shareholders, customers, and taxpayers of commercial banks are waiting for more information, better particulars, of the Ghana Commercial Bank's takeover of 2 banks, I've already named them for you. We have in our possession a letter dated 9th June 2017, reference PID-PEU 01-2017, signed by the Honourable Ofori-Atta, giving approval of a loan of 10,459,500 from the ADB to Magdan Shipping Company Limited. The letter addressed to the Managing Director of the ADB with the heading, read, Approval of Credit Facilities, Magdan Shipping Company Limited, states in paragraph 2 that approval is hereby granted you to disburse a credit facility in the sum of 10,459,500 Ghana cedis to Magdan Shipping Company. This is to enable the company undertake its business operations and in particular to execute a supply contract awarded by the Ghana Cocoa Board. And ladies and gentlemen of the media, we'd like you to probe further whether this contract was awarded through an open, competitive tender process to guarantee and ensure value for money, or it was one approved of what was a sin, sole sourcing. The minister has by this action usurped the authority and functions of the bank, its board of directors, which has curiously not been constituted.
And of course, stay right here on TV3 because throughout the day and on News 360 and beyond, we'll get you more of the minority press conference on this. Up now is business, and EcoBank is making all the headlines.
Thank you so much, Bright. There. It's still Midday Live and time for business. My name is Nanikia Mensah-Brampa. Well, he's right. EcoBank Ghana has disengaged 181 outsourced staff as it continues to expand on its digital agenda, which seeks to place banking in the hands of the clients. Now, with effect from September 4, 2017, the staff, including front and back office branch executives and other departments spread across the country, were asked to go home. Now, the move will culminate in the reduction of its branches across the country from 77 to 67 to ensure efficiency in high and serve customers better. So we're trying to find out exactly what the impact of this would be in the banking sector, talking about layoffs. And joining us on the phone lines this afternoon is Nanotu Champon, banking consultant, to give us more analysis into this particular one. Good afternoon to you, sir, and thank you for your time. Hello, Nana, good afternoon. Nanotu, good afternoon. Well, so we're trying to reach Nana. Nana, if you can hear me, thanks for your time. Let's look at the impact of layoffs, especially regarding the banking sector. Talking about the issue of confidence in the banking sector by consumers,
Afternoon.
Nana.
Yeah,
Hello,
I'm
Nana.
getting 2 voices.
Okay, can you hear me now? Hello, Nana.
Yes, now I hear you.
Yes, great. Now, I'm talking about the confidence in the banking sector by consumers, looking at the recent acquisitions as well as measures
I can hear
and
you
layoffs.
On the screen, but somebody is talking behind there as well.
Is it better now?
You better. Okay.
Is it better now? Hello, Nana. Nana, is it better now? Can you hear me?
Yes. Who am I talking to?
This is Nanekia.
No, yes, I can hear you.
Right. I was asking
yes.
of a level of confidence in the banking sector, looking at the current issues regarding layoffs in the sector, especially from the consumer's perspective.
Well, there isn't any confidence crisis at all, because what EcoBank has done is in line with their business strategy, where they are going digital way, and therefore they have had to find some staff redundant to need. Now, they've been launching or been going very aggressively in the digital finance space, where they've launched several products, and they said with one of the products they launched less than a year ago, they've had over 120 customers sign on. So it has caused them to reduce the face-to-face engagement, resulting in a reduction of 13% in their branch network. So I think this is what has happened.
Yeah, but the argument is not, Nana, the argument is not just based on EcoBank. It's based on recent layoffs within the banking sector.
Well, you see, if you take the banking sector, in the last couple of years, 2016, 2017, 7 new banks have joined. So with 7 new banks joining, if there's a layoff in one of the existing ones, there's job opportunities for them in the other sectors. So I think we should put that in perspective.
All right, okay. Nana, we are grateful for your time. Well, that's what time will permit us. But I'll get back to you for more detail into that particular one. That would do for the business segment this afternoon. We have the Alfosulabi standing by with what I don't know if you'll be excited about, but they are really pissing me off. I'm talking about the Black Stars. It's sports time.
Right, so thank you very much, Nanika Mensah Brampa. It's time now to do sports here on Midday Live. My name is Alfosulabi. Now, the Black Stars will take on Congo in the return leg of the World Cup qualifying series in Brazzaville with the hope of trying to salvage their campaign after a disappointing draw in Kumasi last Friday. Here's our preview to the game. As Ghana head out of the tunnel at the Kintele Stadium this afternoon to face Congo, there will be one thing on their minds: to not go out of the qualifying series without a fight. They will have to do that though without captain Asamoah Gyan, the Ayew brothers, and Ibn Zofori, who was attacked by robbers in Accra a night before the team left for the Central African country. The Stars were jeered at the Baba Yara Stadium after the disappointing 1-1 draw. But prior to the game, the team was expected to win, knowing too well that Uganda had put the brakes on Egypt in Kampala. But on the day, there were a lot of indecisions in play, tactical errors that cost the team, and a general demeanor that suggested that the Black Stars were certainly not up for it. The backlash for the coach has been outrageous, but technical director of the Ghana Football Association, Otia Kenteng, says Ghanaians should be patient with coach Kwesi Appiah. Kwesi
Appiah told you that he's also having a double tier. You are thinking about results and then at the same time talking about development. We are building a team. He said he's building a team. So why don't we be a little bit patient and then look at it and then see whether those he wants to use will be able to help Ghana today and then tomorrow. What we need to do is that we should try as much as possible to win our matches. So that if there is a slip from anywhere, then we probably will cash in.
The hopes of a nation reaching a 4th straight World Cup rested on that game in Kumasi, but the opportunity was not taken. As it stands, it will only take a huge miracle to get the Black Stars to Russia. Well, that's all the sports now. My name is Yao Fosulabi. There's more sports later when Thierry Nyan joins you on News 360.
Welcome back. Now, let's see the international front. The U.S. envoy to the UN has urged the Security Council to take the strongest possible measures against North Korea after its latest nuclear test. That's on the other side. But let's jump to the African continent. Kenya's opposition leader Raila Odinga says he will not take part in the October 17 rerun elections.
Kenya's opposition leader Raila Odinga has said that he will not take part in the presidential election rerun slated for 17th October without legal and constitutional guarantees, but he did not specify exactly what guarantees he wanted. Last week, the Supreme Court annulled August election results, saying the Electoral Commission had not followed the Constitution. The court said a new election needs to be held by November 1. In the 8th August poll, incumbent President Uhuru Kenyatta was declared the winner with 54% of the votes, and Mr. Odinga got 45%, according to the Electoral Commission. Speaking to journalists, Mr. Odinga said that the new election must be held in an environment where everything that went wrong can be corrected. We know exactly what transpired in these last elections. We know what the IEBC did, and we know that if we were to go back, there will be no different results, and that's why we will say there will be no elections on 17th October. That's according to Raila Odinga.
A former Deputy Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Jifa Gomashi, wants Ghanaian dancers to be innovative and strive at improving their act. She believes dancing has now moved from being a passion to business and is urging professionals to step up their game.
The third edition of the Ghana Dance Festival has been launched. The initiative is to celebrate the various dance forms in Ghana. It is again aimed at developing the art form through training sessions and series of career development activities.
We are going to have series of workshops, for people out there who want to learn how to dance and for dancers who want to upgrade their skills. We are also bringing to you amazing theatrical productions that's going to happen in collaboration with the National Theatre. And then we are also going to bring something for kids.
The month of September has been set aside for the 2017 festival.
We are going to bring you an amazing dance session.
And as we're wrapping up the show, a quick look at our top stories. Bonded graduate nurses picket at the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. And on the international front, Kenya's opposition leader Raila Odinga says he will not take part in the October 17 rerun presidential elections. My name is Bright Nanamfo. Have a great afternoon and stay right here on TV3.